ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ ॐ नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो उदीरयेत्। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। बोले श्री वेदव्यास भगवान की जय। हरि ओम। Welcome to the 9th day of Yaksha Prashna. Question number 30, 31, 32 and 33. The question asked by Yaksha to Yudhishthira is, Kim svit suktam na nimishati, Kim svit jatam na chaupati, Kasya svit hridayam nasti, Kim svit vegena vardhate. These questions are seemingly very simple questions, simplistic questions about nature and about the world. But when we understand, there's a very deeper meaning to it. Yudhishthira replies, Yudhishthira uvacha matsya sukto na nimishati andam jatam na chopati ashmano hridayam nasti nadhi vegena vardhate. So what is this? These 4 questions are very interesting questions. Kim svit suktam na nimishati. What sleeps? It's more like riddles. These are like puzzles or riddles. Kim svit suktam na nimishati. What sleeps but does not close his eyes? We know that fish sleeps but does not close its eyes. Matsyaha suptaha na nimishati. The fish sleeps with eyes open. This is a scientific truth. If you can even check out on Google, how do fish sleep? The answer will be the fish sleeps with eyes open. We can't sleep with eyes open. We have to close our eyes. But the fish keep their eyes open. Is it such a small detail, a scientific fact that the Yaksha is asking? No. The fish refers to the jiva. The jiva swims in the body like a fish. The fish travels from the left bank to the right bank in the river, constantly swimming here and there. In the same way, the jiva travels in the body like a fish. The jiva moves from the waking state to the sleep state. The waking state is one bank of the river. The sleep state is the other bank of the river. The jiva keeps moving between these 2 states. And even while moving with these 2 states, waking and sleep, when the body is resting, the jiva is awake. The jiva is that awareness within, the consciousness within, that does not go to sleep even when the body goes to sleep. In the Brihadaranya Upanishad, there is a line, Tadyatha Mahatmasya Ubhe कूलेनु सञ्चरति पूर्वं चापरं च एवमेवायं पुरुष एतावुभावन्ताव अनुसञ्चरति स्वप्नान्तं च बुद्धान्तं च. Between dream, waking and deep sleep, the jiva is always awake. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, the chapter 2, there is a reference to the person who is awake even while the whole world goes to sleep. The world here refers to the body and the sense organs which experiences the objects of the world. When the sense organs are shut and the body is asleep, the consciousness is awake within. Yanisha sarva bhutanam yasyam jagarti samyami tasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato munehi mananashilavan iti munihi. The muni is one who is constantly contemplating. For that muni, yanisha sarvabhutanam, in that which is night, meaning in that thought which all the creatures, all the beings in this world do not spend their time in contemplation. That thought of the self, that thought of Bhagavan, Ishvara, the Muni is contemplating all the time. Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam samyami jagrati. Samyami means one who has controlled the senses and who does not let the energy go out into the world of objects, craving for the pleasures of the senses, craving for curious knowledge about the world. Samyami, he is contemplating on that Ishvara or the self all the time. Sa nisha pashyato munehe tasyam jagrati yasyam jagrati bhutani, where all the beings of the world are awake and alert. They want to get the objects of the world. Even if a big homa or a big event is happening, the people who are interested in the objects will wait for the homa to get over and see if I can get that banana, I can get that fruit, I can take away this prasada, whether everybody gets it or not, whether everybody receives their share or not. The people who are always alert and awake to the objects of the world, they are very alert, but the Muni is not alert to this. He doesn't even bother about the fruits of the action. He is constantly thinking about the source from which the action sprung. Sanisha Pashato Munehi. So that is a jiva that swims in this body, in this mind, and in this intellect between the states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. So, and while swimming, while staying, just like the fish does not close its eyes, the jiva does not close its eyes. Even while we are asleep, the jiva is awake, standing guard for keeping the body in a protective situation at all times. Because the jiva is alert and awake, we are able to sleep at peace. Just because the people in the army, navy, and air force are taking care of our air spaces, water space, and the earth space from all directions, we, the people, are able to sleep at peace at night. In the same way, the jiva is protecting this body from all sides for the sadhana that we have come here to do, or for the purpose that which we have taken birth in this world, to protect the body, to protect the mind, and protect the intellect. In the same way, when we take it as mind, the Brahman is conscious and aware, whereas the mind with its objects is constantly roaming around in the world seeking objects of pleasure. Kims with Jatam Nachopati Andam Jatam Nachopati. What is born but does not move? That's a question. The egg is born but it does not move. These are like Zen koans. Koans are the sound the master will tell, the Zen master will tell the student, listen to the sound of one hand clapping. So, what is the sound of one hand clapping? No sound. It means listen to the sound of silence. The same way, what does not move after the egg, after it is born, the egg does not move after it is born. Birth here is referring to manifestation. Even after manifesting, there is no movement. So, what manifests and does not move? The egg. What is the egg that's referred here? The Brahmanda, the earth, water, fire, air, and space. Ultimately, space, but initially, earth. These are all the manifestations of Brahman. The whole cosmic Brahman is manifest in the form of earth, water, fire, air, and space. The earth is steady, the space is steady, but in between, air, fire, and water move. And in this earth, the great, all the living creatures of this earth, the human beings, they come and manifest and they move and exist. So Brahmanda is, the Brahman is steady, it does not move, and out of the Brahman, the manifestation of Brahman is the Brahmanda, earth, water, fire, air, and space, and they do not move. In the same way, the Vedantic thought, Brahman is the supreme reality, which itself is manifesting as the Brahmanda. Even when manifesting as Brahmanda, the Brahman remains unchanging and still. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is this verse which says, Yatha kashasthito nityam vayu sarvatra goman tatha sarvani bhutani matsthani tyupadharaya. O Arjuna, understand that yatha akashaha sthitaha nitya. Just like the akasha is steady at all times, vayuhu sarvatra gaha. Vayu, the air, moves at all times. Tatha sarvani bhutani. In the same way, I am steady and still, and all the living beings and creatures keep moving around in me. I am steady and still. All jivas are moving around me. Tata sarvani bhutani mat sthani. They're all in me. Iti upadharaya. Understand in this way. There is another Upanishad mantra which says, Dakharam vipapam parameheshma bhutam yat pundarikam puramadhya saggastam tatrapi dakhram gaganam vishokaha tasmin yatantastadupasitavyam. Upasitavyam. There is a space in the heart. Heart refers to the place of feeling, where we can feel. We can feel anger, hatred, jealousy, calmness, quietude, joy, bliss. There is a place we can feel. It is not exactly the physical heart, but it is the space where we experience feelings. And in that space where we experience feelings, there are different types of feelings which are tumultuous and which shake us at all times. But there are some feelings which are very calm, which are very quiet. And even those feelings do not refer to that supreme space, because any time the calmness and quietness can change into sorrow, grief, tumult, or agitation. But what is exactly is referred to that which does not move, is that consciousness, the witness, which experiences a different levels of movement, like the agitation, the anger, the hatred, the jealousy, and sometimes calm, sometimes quiet, sometimes happy, sometimes agitated, sometimes moody, sometimes dull, sometimes depressed. But everything is being watched by one consciousness that does not move, where everything else is moving. Everything, even though that consciousness is manifest, it's present, it is manifest out of this Brahman that is present everywhere, the consciousness does not move. Just like the earth does not move. The earth does not move in our perception. The space around the earth does not move in our perception. Actually, everything is consisting of particles, subatomic particles, quarks, all spinning and moving in empty space. But when we see around us, we don't see any movement. We don't see any movement when there's actually everything is so dull and depressed, we don't see movement. When everything is too hyperactive, like for example, when this fan is spinning at very high speed, we cannot see the blades of the fan. We cannot actually see the movement of the fan. When we are going very fast by car, or even when we are going in an aeroplane, the aeroplane will be going so fast, but because it is contrasted by the sky which does not move, we don't experience any movement. We feel like as though we are just standing stationary in space, which is impossible because the aeroplane is moving at a very fast speed. So what manifests but does not move? Consciousness manifests but does not move. It is very steady, it is very still. We can try this experiment wherever we go. When we watch around, we watch so many things, maybe cars, bikes, vehicles. As we move forward, the lights are moving behind, the trees are moving behind, some things are moving along with us, some things are moving away from us, some things are moving across us, something we experience moving behind us, something moves above us, something can move sometimes beneath us also. We experience all these movements, but to experience something, there has to be an experiencer who is steady. Only if my train is still, I can experience the other train moving. When two trains are moving on the same speed, or when two trains are still in the platform, we cannot experience movement of the other train. In the same way, just because consciousness is still, awareness is still, and is watching through the sense organs, we are able to experience movement. The 32nd question is, Kasyasvit hridayam nasti ashmanaha hridayam nasti. Who does not have a heart? The answer by Yudhishthira is, a stone does not have a heart. Kasyasvit hridayam nasti. Ashma means, shma means the body, ashma means no body. That is, it refers to that person of enlightened consciousness who has given up the attachment for the body, who has given up for the attachment for the mind. Such a person does not have any feelings, meaning because they have distanced themselves from away from the body and mind, they do not experience any movement and change. Because they don't experience movement and change, the previous question and this question are relevant to each other. Because they don't experience movement and change, they don't experience any change in emotions. All the time, they are staying in the blissful state of the self. Because they don't experience emotions like the ordinary person, like the human being who's engaging in this world, who's going through a lot of change and suffering, joy and sorrow. Ashmanaha hridayam nasti. The stone does not have a heart. That is, somebody's heart is like a stone, meaning unchanging and unmoving like a stone. They do not have any feelings in this world. So, in this heart, there are three knots according to the Upanishads. What are they? The Hridaya Granthi. The Hridaya Granthi is Avidya, Kama, Karma. Avidya is a knot, Kama is a knot, and Karma is a knot. The knot of Avidya, it is always there inside us. As long as this body is intact, the mind is there, we are living in the presence of this knot of avidya. What does this knot of avidya do? This knot of avidya makes us feel that I am this body, this is me, and the modifications of the body are my modifications. The modifications of the prana, like hunger and thirst, are my modifications. I am feeling hungry, I am feeling thirsty. The modifications of the mind, I like this and I like that. These are my modifications. The modifications of the intellect, I know this, I plan this, I decide this, I do this. These are modifications of the intellect. We see it as our modifications. The modifications of bliss. I am blissful. I am happy. We see it as I. So when we attach ourselves to the different modifying factors of our personality, we associate ourselves with that. But when we are free from that, when we are free from these attachments, how to be free from the attachment is the body is there, the prana is there, the mind is there, the intellect is there, and the body of bliss is there. It is there. I'm not giving importance or I'm not associating or attaching any importance to the body. The body just exists as it is. It is there to do some work. It is doing its work. The prana just exists as it is. It is meant to do some work. It is doing its work. The mind exists as it is. The mind is meant to do some work. It is doing its work. The intellect exists as it is. The intellect is doing its work. The bliss, the joy, the happiness of life exists as it is. It is there to do some work and it is doing its work. Everything that I see and experience are there and they are doing their specified jobs, specified work to fulfill something in this world. Who am I? I am that unmoving, unchanging self who is a witness of the body, mind, intellect, and the blissful self within. I am the witness and I am not moving, I am not changing, I am not going with the change, I am not the one who is experiencing the changes. Ashmanaha hridayam nasti. Shma means body. Ashma means no body. One who does not have a body. Even among jivas, Sadashiva Brahmendra ji says in the Yoga Sutra Bhashya, Jivaha Vividhaha Videhaha Prakritilayascha. Who are the Videha Jivas? The Videha Jivas are those who do not have a body. They do not have the body with the Shat Kaushika, the five koshas, and the witnessing consciousness is not separate in that in the Videha Purushas. Shat Kaushika, Deha Shunyaha, Videhaha. The other types of jivas are Prakriti Laya, who are having the body, who are immersed in ignorance, who are immersed in Ajnana. These are the two types of jivas. And the Videhaha, Ashma means no body. Those people do not have a heart, meaning they do not have feelings. when even in this modern day, when you talk about people with past life regression, they go into, they discover people with ascended masters and higher souls, and those souls, those masters or the gods, they can come to our help only when we are not very agitated, only when we are very calm and very quiet, because they are not in a place of agitation, they're not in a place of disturbance, and so they cannot understand the human language of disturbance, of restlessness, of agitation. So they can communicate with us. The devas can communicate with us only when we enter into a very quiet state. Why? Because they don't have the feelings that we have. We feel angry, we feel jealous, we feel hateful, we feel frustrated. We feel all that because we are suffering from ignorance. When they don't suffer from ignorance, they don't have those feelings and they don't have a heart, so to speak. That is why many a devotee goes and bangs himself at the stone idol of Bhagavan, say, can't you see I'm going through so much of suffering? Can't you're always smiling like this and showing the Abhaya Varada Hasta? You don't share my suffering, you don't share my sorrow. Bhagavan will continue to smile. That is what Arjuna did. Arjuna tried to bang himself around Bhagavan Sri Krishna and says, I don't want to fight this war. I don't want to fight these people. These are my gurus. These are my masters. These are my elders. I don't want to fight with them. I'm going through so much of suffering because I'm in this war. I want to run away from war. Arjuna is having all these feelings. And what is Bhagavan Krishna, Sri Krishna doing? Prahasan Niva Bharata. He is just simply smiling, looking at Arjuna and says, Klaibyam asmagam of partha naitattvai yupapadyate kshudram hrudaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. Keep your heart like stone. Leave all these silly emotions. Klaibyamma, don't be so weak-hearted. Smagamaha partha. Don't enter into these silly emotions. Be calm, be steady. Naitatvahi upapadyati. These emotions are unbecoming of you. Kshudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Leave this weakness of heart. Tyaktva Uttishta Parantapa. So that is a waking call for Arjuna. Parantapa, you are the one who can scorch his enemies. In this world, we can go through all the experiences of the world by 4 different ways: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. These are the only 4 reactions we can give to various situations in this world. Fight. Arjuna is a warrior, so don't run away. Don't go into a flight mode. Be in the fight mode. Don't put your phone on flight mode, Arjuna. Put your body and mind into the fight mode. Fight this battle. Engage in the world. Fight means not exactly fight. Do your work. Do your purushartha. Strive in this world. Work hard. Don't keep saying, all these people are getting rich. I'm only staying poor. All these people are very happy. I'm only unhappy. Even for becoming rich, we don't need to work hard. We have to work very, very hard to stay happy in this world. So much of work has to be done to stay happy. It's a serious business. This job of being very calm, being very quiet, being happy is hard work. So put your purushartha, put your effort into this world, strive into this world and make a life for yourself. So that is what this is a fight mode. The flight mode is running away from battle, running away from problems, running away from fears, running away from our anxieties, running away from our worries is a flight mode. The third mode is the freeze mode, getting frozen in this world. We freeze, we don't know what to do. We are shell shocked. We don't know the sense organs of actions are not responding for the pressures of this world. That is a freeze mode. And the fourth mode is a very cheap way of living. In childhood, when there is no other way, when children face problems, they go into the fawn mode because parents only are the people who can guide them. They placate their parents, they please their parents, they go into the fawn mode by doing something nice to them, making them calm, even when the mother is angry and the mother is refusing to talk to the children will come to the mother, please don't do, I will do all help for you in the kitchen, I will wash all your clothes, I will do whatever you say, speak now to me, all that they will say. This is the fawn mode. But as we grow into adults, when we don't have actual parents around us, we have other people who are giving us a bad time, who are making us feel bad, and then we go into a fawn mode to please them. Don't be sad, don't be worried, I will not do anything to you, I will keep you calm. We do that. So the heart has to be strong and steady the emotions. Kimsvit vegena vardhate, nadi vegena vardhate. What grows with speed? The river grows with speed. The river here means the river of prana. When we put speed into our actions, when we put intensity into our actions, prana keeps churning, prana keeps growing and developing. And when prana is growing abundantly, it has its own force and it pushes forth into action. So, what is prana? When we do tapasya, when we are working in this world, when we are striving very hard, we engage our energies. When collectively, people of this country, people of the world, maybe it's difficult, but a big entity is the people of the country who can work together. When we put our energies together, any magic is possible because the prana which it rises it only increases with the increasing force, increasing attention, increasing awareness. You see so many countries like Japan, which was bombed, atomic bombs during the Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. After that, the people of the country worked together with the government, and now Japan is an unstoppable force in this world. It's such a powerful force. They have lifted themselves up from poverty, squalor, difficulty, and all kinds of difficulties because they have put their energies together. And when people put their energies together, nadi vegena vardate. When the energy gathers force, speed also, the speed, the intensity, everything increases the force of that prana shakti. So, in the spiritual parlance, when we want to spiritually uplift ourselves, it is not only important to do intense sadhana, but the sadhana has to be very calm. It has to be guided by the guru. Because we can do intense sadhana and we can see intense results also happening. But those results which are not guided by proper thinking, proper contemplation, guidance of the guru, that sadhana is not going to be of, it is going to land us into despair because the force increases, but we have to apply our mind, apply our intellect, and apply our devotion. We have to be devoted to the Guru, devoted to the Bhagavan. Otherwise, the very sadhana that we start practicing can end into a spiritual hysteria. In medical terminology, there is something called the Kundalini syndrome. The Kundalini syndrome is trying to be very intense in our practice without following the rules, the guidance, and without having the necessary slowness of practice. We increase our sadhana and Kundalini Shakti, Kundalini Shakti, inside. Kundalini Shakti will the Kundalini Shakti increases, the energy increases, and because of that, because our goal is not extremely sattvic, our goal is not self-realization, that energy can enter into different parts of the body and mind and cause a lot of depression and disturbances in our health and our the physical body also. So these are the 4 questions that are asked by Yaksha and answered by Yudhishthira. Tomorrow we will see, for the last day of this Yaksha Prashna, we will see the next 4 questions. Om, 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 Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Bole Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Namah Parvati Pataye. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hari Om.